Hello everyone, nubkeks here and welcome back to Nub Raids. In today's video, I want to talk about ally protection champions and 10 of the best across all the different rarities in the game. I think it's quite interesting because it's such a powerful buff. We're talking really as well about the big one. The small one is there, but it's not great. Actually, no champion in the game has both. You're really looking at the big one, and why is it so strong? Well, it's because it's giving you 50% damage reduction to basically everyone on your team. And it's interesting because when I was looking at this particular buff, I was realizing, number one, the Mythicals, well, maybe you're watching this one for only has been buffed. I don't know. But there are relatively few, very, very few top-end examples of this. It's much more of an early game buff. There are a couple of exceptions, like, spoiler, Neve, Spear of Nyresa. We'll get to her, of course. But, yeah, this buff can basically give 50% damage mitigation to your whole team. It can make a huge difference. I don't talk about it very often, but I certainly think with crazy champions like Neve in PvP, with tough endgame content like this Demon Coalition event which has come out, etc., Faction Wars Hard, and so on. Yeah, it's a buff that is worth talking about. So without any further ado, let's dive in. You might have caught a little spoiler there as well of a very budget option. The only rare I think is really worth talking about here, in my opinion, as well, and that is Gladewulf. I think he's one of the best rares that's been added to the game basically ever. I think he's insane. Not a champion I would use because I've been playing the game for years and years and years. But for a newer player, my gosh, is this guy incredible. So he comes in, 3-turn cooldown when booked, counterattack on himself for 2 turns, then ally protection on everybody else for 2 turns. Why is that so strong? Well, just from this alone, before you see how his A1 works, which is really good by itself, but that counterattack, you give him the War Master Mastery, you give him a Lifesteal set, or you give him the Life Drinker Mastery, basically ways to heal off of damage. It means that if you're fighting a boss, he gets smacked, all that damage comes from the team onto him. He's ally protected it, he's redirected that damage. Well, he's going to counterattack, and if he triggers War Master, if he's in Lifesteal set, he's potentially going to just heal back up to full health, because that War Master proc, or Giant Slayer proc even, would work on him, is going to do so much damage. That's really cool. It's really useful. Or you could bring the Leech debuff, and it will do the similar sort of thing. You're probably not building any damage on him, so you would be relying on Giant Slayer or War Mastery, very reliant on the masteries, but it's a cool bit of tech, very strong. His A1, by the way, this is why Giant Slayer can work. It's a triple hit, and each hit has a chance of putting the big version of decreased speed. This makes him incredibly good for Fire Knight progression, right? 3 hits to take down the shield. Really good chance to place decreased speed. It's not bad against Spider either, anywhere where you need that decreased speed. Good for waves too, where he's going to be counterattacking against AoE attacks and waves and placing decreased speed. Oh, also, by the way, he's got a 75% chance to provoke. Not a full chance, but he is Void Affinity. So you're kind of, although it's not a 100% chance, it sort of counteracts the fact that if he was an affinity-based champion against weak affinity, you've got a 35% chance to weak hit. So I think it balances out pretty well. And this is just a rare. Insane rare. And by the way, he gets damage reduction for allies under ally protection. I think, like I said, I think he's one of the best rares in the game. Like, he is incredible for progressing through those early game bosses, early game waves. Yeah, early game sets like Lifesteal, perfect on him. He's got it all. Well worth, I think, for newer players, getting up to 60, getting masteries on him. Easy to book because he's a rare. Great value, fantastic, good for Faction Wars. Yeah, lovely champion. I think the people that are using him are finding him to be quite solid. Again, with Fire Knight being the major draw. Iron Twin's very good as well. Healing you up, keeping you alive. When the boss hits a threshold, loses all his debuffs, this guy's going to counterattack and reapply decreased speed to protect you as well from, from the turn meter boosting that the boss can get. So, yeah, insane champ. Stats are a bit low, but there you are. One thing actually we have to mention, I should have mentioned this at the start. I was thinking about it there when I was talking about building for damage, and something you typically will never do on ally protection champions unless there's an incredibly good reason. Let's bring up Vizix is a very good example. I do have mine built with a little bit of crit damage. It's hard to escape it when you're later in the game. Ally protection is very strange, and the way it basically works is when your ally gets hit by a critical hit. So let's say I hit you with my A2 and my Aphidus. I hit your allies and they've got ally protection. Now my Aphidus has got 300% crit damage. He's going to be hitting them really, really hard. What actually happens is when you hit with a crit, it will do the base damage calculation, but instead of using my Aphidus's crit damage, instead it would use your ally protector. So let's say I'm protecting my team with Vizix. She's got ally protection up. It will take that crit, and when it redirects half of it to her, it will use her crit damage multiplier, which is 150. So it will not quite half as much, because it'd be like 250% versus what, 400%. Not quite, but almost, roughly half. Roughly half the damage in this particular situation. Not quite, but close, which is a really big deal. Now, the flip side of this, what's going to happen more often than you're being hit by a really high crit damage enemy, and this is a benefit to you, the thing that's probably going to be more common is actually the opposite, which is if you build someone like Vizix, who's got some decent AoE damage, you can build her. She's got 2 AoEs on 3-turn cooldowns. You can build her as a defense nuker. She's quite good. She can farm Nightmare Campaign actually really well, funny enough. I think I've got a video on that. But if you do build her for damage, it means that when enemies in PvE, let's say faction wars or dungeons, when they crit your team, they typically will have just the basic, like 50%, like they'll have the basic crit damage. They're not going to have any stats. They'll have really low crit damage. If you have more than that, she'll actually take more damage. If you build her at like 250% crit damage, your team takes crits, and she's ally protected them, she's taking massively increased damage. So this is it's really weird. It makes no sense, really, that when a crit is redirected, the ally protector's crit damage is what applies. Very bizarre. It's just a weird way the game is coded. But that is something to be aware of. You basically, in general, want to avoid building crit on ally protection champions. So, well, crit rate is fine, but don't build crit damage because it will increase the damage that they take. I think the exception would be someone I'm not going to mention on this list. I don't like her much, but she is there. Kyoku's okay because she puts out ally protection, but also block damage. And she can do good damage, which is cool. So you can totally build her with damage because all that damage being redirect doesn't matter if she's got loads of crit damage and the crits are really hitting hard because it's just going into block damage anyway, for example. So yeah, that's an important tip. Next champion I want to talk about, I put him as the lowest epic, a real OG champion. He was insane back in the day when he came out. Miscreated Monster. I think he's still decent now, but he's got ally protection for 3 turns on the whole team on a 3-turn cooldown. So it's about like half uptime. Sorry, on a 4-turn cooldown. It's a bit higher than half uptime. Very good uptime. Long cooldown, but long duration, which is cool. Also gives him loads of healing at the same time as well. So it's going to help him to stay alive, which is really important. Then he has an AoE stun. It's only a 50-50. That's sort of his downside. I think that could be buffed for the modern game, really. And then very cool. He gives a shield equal to damage inflicted. So you can sometimes see Miscreated Monsters being built, certainly with crit rate, against Spider Boss. This can give you a massive shield because there's so many enemies. So yeah, watch out for him in any fights where there's a large number of enemies. He can generate a really big shield. I've seen him used, early game. I'd say he's a very strong arena champion because he's tanky. He can do lots of damage, can be difficult to deal with. He can stun on his A1. His passive can be quite annoying where he's putting out fears as well. So he was an old school arena champion. I think he's still decent and he's still worth talking about. Spider's Den, I think, yeah, I'm very good for faction wars and arena too because of that stun. The stun not super reliable, but it's good. The shield can be great, particularly against Spider. So you're getting like weirdly high damage because you're building him loads of health. Give him crit rate, it'll do enough, and yeah, he can be really fun. Skullcrusher for me is up next. I do think I think Miscreated Monster is arguably overrated. In the sense that he was such a popular champion back in the day, but I think he's genuinely good. Skullcrusher, for me, is certainly overrated. I think this guy's really overrated. It's a real holdout of like, I don't know, 1997 when this Raid Shadow Legends first came out. That's like, when Skullcrusher was incredible. Grandpa likes Skullcrusher. Is he that good these days? He's okay. He makes my list, but he's not So he's not as insane as I think he's always made out to be. He has the 3-turn cooldown ally protection for 2 turns, but also puts counterattack on everyone except him, gives him unkillable for 1 turn. That's quite nice. So if your team gets AoE nuked, he can survive all that ally protection damage being redirected because he's unkillable just for that 1 turn, but it can be enough. He does open up with his passive as well. He can be a stun target. So again, back in the 90s, when you were building these very ornate teams for Demon Lord, which are not really as relevant these days because you can overpower it so much more easily. And you get such like crazy champions for free and all that to overpower it these days, like Xenomorph and, there's Wixwell a while ago, not for free, but you get the gist. Skullcrusher opens up some very, very unique teams for that, which is cool. I haven't seen it resurface at all for Tainted Demon Lord, but I'm sure somebody tried it. But yeah, look, getting team counterattack. For a long, long, long time, Raid were like, we're not going to release any more team counterattack champions. It's too powerful. Now, obviously, with the insane power creep in the game, we're now getting champions like Klazag, or we're getting, I think we get this chick like Cecilia, who's got a double hit AoE enemy max HP, but also team counterattack as well. And you're like, oh, she's really good. She's not OP though, which is insane to think. Like back in the day, Skullcrusher, he brings the full team counterattack, which is cool. Heal reduction A1. Is decent. They need lower defense than him, but you can build for that. That's okay. Very useful against the Mimic in Grim Forest. But yeah, he's protecting your team. Huge damage reduction, giving everyone counterattack. Good for Demon Lord. And that's the main place, I think, where you're going to be running him. Is going to be Demon Lord and a certain extent in Grim Forest. He can be quite cool there. But yeah, if you pull him early on, it does open up some really cool progression teams for Demon Lord, which are well worth talking about. So yeah, I think the value of him, I think he's never lived up to the hype really, but he is not bad. Like he's good. He does some very cool, unique things, but just they are extremely niche, but they are cool. And it's a worthwhile niche that might make a big difference to you. Next up on the list is a champion that I think is not really renowned for their ally protection, but they are an ally protector and they're very good at what they do. So it's White Dryad Nia. So she has the ally protection for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Now it's the small version of Strengthen, which is quite disappointing. Yeah, even for an epic, it is disappointing. I kind of want the epic to have more. But yeah, this move, it's okay. It's not spectacular. It's okay. The rest of her kit, though, is great. Her passive, I think, as well, is only okay, but it's kind of nice. But she's an AoE, decreased speed A1, void affinity. It's really good. It's basically Krisk's A1. It's incredibly nice. And then her A2 is incredible. It removes all debuffs, massive heal to a single target ally, and then if it's not herself, it will decrease the cooldown of their skills by 2 turns. So you can use that on your damage dealer to do more damage rotations. If your team is like dying, use it on a healer or use it on a reviver to get people back up and stabilized. One really spicy one, if you got a Yumiko, you can use it on Yumiko to reset Yumiko's reset ability or get close anyway, and you can do that. So like 2 Nias plus Yumiko was a team for a while. You can use 2 Nias resetting each other, which is hilarious to get like the reset thing in Faction Wars hard done really easily. This opens up a lot. Now you need to manual her for this to have maximum effect, to choose the right target, the ideal target, let's say the optimal target. You're going to have to play it on manual. You're going to be better than the AI is at that. But yeah, she's bringing loads of utility in every single move. I think the ally protection is kind of, for her, it's sort of only one small bit of her kit. It's not the highlight. I think her A2 is the highlight. And everything she does is quite cool. But yeah, she's definitely worth noting. And I think she makes this list, even if it's not the main focus of her kit. Now, a champion who it is the main focus of their kit is Traggi the Frog. For me, he's like the ultimate sort of epic ally protector, because he does the job of keep the team alive. That's what he does. And he's an epic. They're easier to book. Fantastic. So what's he got? He has 3-turn cooldown ally protection. Also puts out a shield equal to his max HP. And ally protectors, you're stacking crazy HP. So you're getting a lovely shield with ally protection to keep them alive. Massive heal on himself as well to keep him alive. Beautiful. Then he has an AoE provoke. You do need debuffs on the enemy team, but that can be straightforward enough these days to do to get up to at least a decent chance. He is affinity based, so you might weak it, but reliable enough AoE provoker as well. And again, he can take the hits. He's got a decrease attack A1. It's not the best chance, but against single target bosses, it is, it's good enough in most circumstances, like Chimera, Demon Lord, Dragon, whatever. Then he's got poisons on his passive, which is particularly good against multi-hit enemies. So yeah, against any sort of boss, any sort of wave you're looking to progress through, keep your team alive, he's provoking, shielding, ally protecting, healing himself up, putting out poisons, putting out decreased attack as well. He's sort of like the complete package. He's a very comfy, also super unique design. Very comfy ally protector. I think he's an amazing epic option. Now, for the legendaries in the Skinwalkers, let's look at Sniktraak. Sniktraak, I think, is one of the most underrated, overlooked champions on this list. I think he was nice for Hydra. He's particularly good for Chimera. He's a reflect damage specialist, which is very odd. And he's a bit of anti-synergy in his kit, but nonetheless, it's interesting. So he's got ally protection and reflect damage on everyone and heals himself up. So very easy to keep him alive, which is cool. Beautiful. Then he has an AoE attack with decreased speed, and then shield buff on allies. If there's enemies under leech and he places leech all the time, it's a protected shield, which is great. You're getting big shield, AoE decreased speed. You've got decreased attack A1. If they're under leech, it's very consistent. And his leech, I should probably look at this first, I suppose. But whenever an ally under reflect damage is attacked, leech on the attacker for 1 turn. So he's consistently giving you leech, decreased attack, ally protection, really big protected shield, loads of survivability, and then the decreased speed AoE. Amazing for Hydra, great for Chimera, waves, anything like that. Really, really cool. The reflect damage stuff is interesting. So he, first of all, reflects half the damage he takes back to the attacker. He increases the effectiveness of reflect damage from the default 30% up to 50%. So makes reflect damage way stronger. Cool. One slight problem, reflect damage does nothing against damage absorbed by shields. Oh, no. It's usually a good thing, right? So like in Hydra, when someone gets devoured, if the head has reflect damage, you can break that person free and the damage not going to be reflected. So it often works in your benefit. But yeah, it's kind of sad for old Sniktraak. His shields won't reflect damage, and he's putting out really good shields, so you're not getting any reflect damage there. But he is one of the few champions in the game that makes reflect damage better. So again, we're looking at Chimera. You're opening up, number one, keeping your team alive because it's a tough boss. He's bringing decreased speed, decreased attack, and leech. These are all super useful for Chimera trials. And on top of staying alive, they all open up specific Chimera trials. There's also a reflect damage trial, which is incredibly difficult to do. He's going to be excellent at helping you to do it because he's going to be reflecting so much damage back. You'll just want to probably not use his A2 when you're on that particular reflect damage trial. Leave your team unshielded, use the ally protection to survive, and just reflect it all back, and he can be excellent for that. So yeah, he is, I think people probably, 4.9. Hydra, Chimera, Faction Wars, Demon Lord as well, really good. He's a great little legendary. I think gets overlooked a lot, but he's fantastic. Now, one that is well known as being amazing, and that is Krisk the Ageless. Very like Sniktraak. He's bringing a lot of similar, amount of buffs and debuffs. He's got AoE decreased speed on the A1, same as Nia. He has AoE provoke, increased defense on himself, increased speed on everybody else. Often you're going to want Krisk to be fast, so you're going to either need to build him really fast or bring somebody to give him increased speed as well. This is very cool. And then he's got ally protection on everybody, 2 continuous heals on himself, and then he increases all buffs. At the start of the fight, he gives you all a big shield, and he puts decreased defense and decreased attack on attackers whenever he is hit, which is amazing. You want to put Krisk high up in the team order because he will actually place like decreased attack before the champions behind him in the team order get hit. So it's an extra layer of keeping those squishy champions alive because of the way that AoE damage usually hits champions one by one going down your team order. It looks like it hits everyone simultaneously, but it actually doesn't in terms of the coding. So again, more funny coding stuff for this video. Fun facts with Nub. Yeah, Krisk is insane. That AoE provoke for Hydra and for waves, incredibly good. Fantastic. And then I think the buff extension gives him a ton of unique value because that's such a valuable thing these days with like Titus teams, shield teams, extending shields. With although ally protection with the shields is going to be difficult-ish to keep Krisk alive, but his shield will break. It's fine. You just need the big shield on Titus. I've run Krisk with Titus. It's very strong. Increase resist teams with someone like Mavara. Buff extension, incredibly good, right? Any teams where you want to have full uptime on buffs, Krisk is giving you that. Because he's also giving himself 2 continuous heals, and he can give himself increased defense. These potentially 3, at least 2, potentially 3 self buffs. Very good for Hydra, and he's got 50 base resistance. Build him high resistance. We're talking like 500 resist for Nightmare Hydra, and he will be resisting the Head of Mischief because he's got so many self buffs. Head of Mischief targets whoever has the most buffs. That will quite easily be Krisk. And yeah, Krisk gets target, he resists it, nothing gets stolen. No turn meter, no buffs. The fight is much easier, and he's bringing you Provoke, decrease defense and attack, AoE decrease speed. Yeah, he's insane for Hydra, and very good for Demon Lord, Chimera, Faction Wars. Arena, early mid game, he's not a strong late game. Definitely not. Iron Twins, again, very solid as well. But yeah, OG, Krisk, I mean, he's held up, I think, surprisingly well. He would have been arguably the best champion in the game at one point. He's definitely not that anymore, but he is just solid. Krisk is always a champion you can be very happy to have. For me, I mean, whenever there's a new boss, he's like the ultimate comfort champion. Throw in a Krisk is so much survivability. It's like he will keep the team alive, and it's great. Now, two more PvP focus here for Ally Protection. Ally Protection, incredibly good in PvP, but it's quite difficult to use. There's not that many good PvP champions. Here's actually the next three are good examples. The final three. Nekhret the Great, the first of these. Now, he is quite unique because he only puts Ally Protection on one person per use of this skill. So he's not covering your whole team in Ally Protection. He's very much single target focused, but he's giving so many of these, and the Ally Protection buff is protected. But it's loads of buffs. And then he's also giving, on this move, whenever a champion Ally Protection is attacked, he gives them a huge shield. Incredible. And then he can bring in those ally protections that he's placed. He can bring them in with an ally attack. Amazing. So he's very special. It's incredibly unique. Going to be loads of buffs, but like on single targets. He can slowly spread it around the team, sure, but it's mostly on those single targets. But it's tons of protection, tons of buffs, and also giving them that damage boost to ally protection. Now, the big thing with him as well is that he does it at the start of a round on the ally with the lowest max HP. So you're going into PvP with an attack-based nuker or a defense-based nuker. Someone with low HP, he is delivering these massive defensive buffs directly onto that champion at the start of the fight, which is incredibly valuable for keeping these squishy champions alive. And there's plenty of champions that are very difficult to use in PvP because they're so squishy that suddenly become viable. Then you pair them up with a Nekhret. You just need to watch out for champions who can ignore ally protection or ignore shields. They do exist, right? But yeah, very unique. He's also very solid in PvE, right? Because he's bringing in that ally attack. He can be quite decent there as well. He's not an MVP. He's definitely more of an arena specialist, but don't sleep on him for some of those other bits of content for sure. I definitely would say, yeah, Hydra, pretty dodgy because he's giving you so many buffs. He's just going to make your damage dealer, who probably doesn't have much resistance, he's going to make them a target for Head of Mischief, and then you're going to get all this stuff stolen, apart from ally protection, which can't be. And you're going to be in trouble, though, because Head of Mischief is going to be stealing lots of nasty buffs. Then next up, well-known, Neve, Spear of Nyresa. Neve is just insane. It's an Irish name, by the way. Lots of the Sylvan names are Irish. Why is she so good? Block damage for everyone at the start of the fight, and whenever her health drops below 50%. Crazy good. She's got the ally protection with block debuffs here for 2 turns on a 3 turn with a massive heal. What makes her so busted is the combination of these, or what the passive opens up, which is 9-piece protection. You can totally run that on Nekhret. It does run the risk of Nekhret just being killed, right? Because he's going to have so much damage coming in at him. Well, Neve can run 9-piece protection and be totally safe, really. Because 75% of the time she's going to have a protected block damage. So unless you've got champions who can ignore block damage, which you kind of have to specifically run against her. Now, they've been adding more, but it's still really difficult. You can easily end up in a situation where you're going, this champion is sat there with protected block damage. I can't do anything. Her whole team could be sat with protected block damage. And you're sitting there going, well, I've got loads of buffs, loads of debuffs, loads of damage. None of it works because they got protected block damage. What can I do? But then because she's in 9-piece protection set, she can then get out protected block debuffs and protected ally protection as well, which is just awful. And you're like, how can I stop this? She has a massive nuke here that always crits if they're low on health. So you can build her with crit damage and try to rely on her passive. That is spicy. And great debuffs on her A1 that can't be resisted or blocked because, well, there's a chance they can't be resisted or blocked. Just because, why not? Incredible value, absolute ridiculously insane PvP champion. I do think a massive chunk of the PvP meta, you kind of have to be prepared to deal with Neve. How do I deal with Neve if they pick a Neve? Oftentimes it might be I have to ban her. But if they've got other horrible champions, then you gotta have either a way to deal with them. You kind of have to pick and choose. Ideally, you could counter all of them. Very difficult. But yeah, if you got a way to deal with Neve, you're happy. For me, she's a 5/5 in Arena. And yeah, she's very solid everywhere else as well. Loads of block debuffs, ally protection, loads of healing, big old shield on your team, decrease attack, decrease crit rate as well, block damage whenever you're in danger. She is absurdly good. Like, it's actually insane how strong she is. And then we come to the mythical. I would say Neve is the best. Actually, I'll put the mythical last. Garol, Blood Maul, is my mythical of choice. Actually, the mythical ally protectors are pretty rubbish. It's quite surprising. They're not great. Like poor old Fralny, who's just bad. There's another one. I've kind of forgot. Hang on, what was it? Right, I've forgotten exactly what they are. They're quite poor. Garol, I think, is the best. You've got a Polara, that's another one. Full team ally protection. Now, to be fair, Gizmak, very good in his alternate form. This is fairly niche to PvP. He's more of a PvP champ. I think he is struggling a bit with Mercurial, but I'm picking Garol as the best one. It's, again, like White Dryad Nia. I say this is not the highlight of her kit, but she can use it to great effect. So she's mostly built for her damage alternate form. But one of the key things here is she does more damage as her HP is lower. And she unlocks a secret skill when she's half HP or less, or under 3 or more debuffs. But yeah, that means that her ally protection, redirecting damage onto her in her base form, sets her up for the alternate. And she comes in, removes all debuffs from all allies, and gives them ally protection. Lovely. Gives them all a massive shield, and increases the shield. Lovely. But she can also give herself unkillable and counterattack for 3 turns. And it's protected. That unkillable is protected. So she can potentially set this up very, very well. Sometimes you might just be opening with the A2, not using the ally protection, because she is your damage dealer. You're probably going to have a pretty tanky team around her. But yeah, the full debuff removal ally protection, it's very cool, very juicy. But yeah, then it's really the big thing with her is mostly using that base form to set up the perfect moment to swap into her alternate form, because her A2 is a massive AoE nuke. Then her A1, big attack that can repeat. She's got a 50-50 to join in ally attacks. She's stronger when her HP is lower. It's really about setting up that alternate form. So very, very different from all your other ally protectors. This is the champion you're going maximum crit damage. You might not even use her ally protection move. But funny enough, I think she is probably the best ally protection mythical. So I'd mention it, even though it's not really the main draw of her kit per se. So there you go. Let me know, who are your favorite ally protection champions? Like I mentioned, Kyoku, she didn't make my list. She's pretty popular. Lugan the Steadfast, he got buffed recently. Physics is obviously great. And a free champion after 9 months that you get. So yeah, I mean, let me know, who do you find the most useful? Who are you actually using the most, and where are you using them? Hopefully this was interesting. Yeah, it's a weird buff. There's a lot of weird interactions, but it is incredibly powerful when it is used well. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.